11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And welcome, everybody. So we're going live. It is Wednesday. Customarily on Wednesday, we take a look at the Instagrams. So we do this live. It's more fun than scripting stuff or doing stuff that's prepared. There we go. And once we get this up on the screen, we'll push the puppy down into the bottom here, where he belongs, in the little corner down here. All right, so thanks everybody who joins us live. Makes it a lot more fun, having interactive nature of the internet in full force. Be sure to leave a comment, otherwise we don't know you're out there. Anybody can sit around watching, and if you're going to have more fun than that, be part of the show. Ron Wayne is out there joining us. Welcome. All right, so we're taking a look at our Instagram over here, but we're not going to be looking at our Instagram. We're going to be looking at the stuff that we've saved. And we haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so we'll be taking a look at a few weeks worth of Instagram posts. If you push on your scroll wheel, you'll get that little symbol shows up on your screen, and then the further down you move your mouse from that little symbol, the faster the page will scroll. So for something like Instagram, if you're looking for a picture, this can be a pretty low hassle way to do it. See, I can have both my hands free to pat this dog on the head while the thing is over here scrolling automatically. We're kind of taking a preview look here for those of us joining on the YouTube side of what we're going to be taking a look at today. 2 weeks worth of posts. Now, for those listening as a podcast, thank you. Most people listen to this as a podcast. We try to make it as audio friendly as possible, but the goal here is to take Instagram and put it over on YouTube, because those are two audiences that typically aren't mixing very much. So if you are joining us on a podcast sometime in the future, you can still be part of the show. For sure, leave us a thumbs up or a comment on the platform that you listen to us on. But you can always come back to the YouTube video, find it on our YouTube channel, and leave a comment. We do pay attention to those things. And again, the interactive nature of the internet, way more fun than just having an audience that you preach to. All right, so I guess this might be a good place to start. We're going to start somewhere. Let's start with Maxim showing off his Gatling gun to... No, I guess that Maxim isn't showing off a Gatling gun. The Maxim showing off his machine gun to his grandkid. I think we showed this one before. So we're going to keep going. We got Orville Wright's. This one's from just some aviation channel, I guess. I don't know this one, so it must have just come across my feed. But it says, during Orville Wright's lifetime, we went from first powered flight to first supersonic flight. Kind of interesting. Is the audio doing okay out there, by the way? It's one of the things that the puppy's supposed to help me with, but he never pays attention. He never monitors the feed like he's supposed to as a good co-host. I've got M13 used in Recreator blanks. That's very cool. One of our favorite gunsmiths to follow on the Instagram. Gunsmith up in Las Vegas working on customer builds, working on projects, and then working with the machine gun rental places in Vegas, which they're doing armorer work for them. And that's some really amazing stuff that's happening when you think about how many rounds are being fired through those rental places in Vegas. It's a whole nother it's a whole new thing to the gun community. We've never had anything like this before. They're shooting more firearms are being shot more there than in any kind of military conflict or any kind of military usage. So really, really neat. And then Recreator Blanks, one of our favorite AK builder companies out there. We meet them every year at SHOT Show and say hey. And this is one of their fixtures for doing the rear rivets inside the channel on a 74 build. Looks like they're putting together here. A couple of different pictures of that one. Look how clean those rivets come out. Very nice. I think we talked about that one. We've got a machine gun shoot coming up on the 17th. I guess that one already happened, so hopefully people went to that one. What is this? February 2nd, first Friday, equipping veterans with resources and building community through jiu-jitsu. I gotta go check it out. Let's see if we're actually broadcasting today. How slow is my internet? Oh, I guess we got it. All right. So this one also from earlier. When you don't do them in 2 weeks, this is what happens. The gun food posting this one, 9mm or 45. What? And then next, some speed dating for gun people. That would be a good qualifying question. If somebody didn't know what the difference between 45 and 9 is, right away you know they're not a gun person. Let's see. This would be Meet the Pressers, getting mad about reacting to the police officer getting beat up in New York. Or maybe was it 2 police officers getting beat up in New York? I definitely remember looking at some of these. So we're going to scroll through these quicker and quicker. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we looked at a lot of these. What is this one? So from Carrie-Anne O'Clair up in Massachusetts. Good morning, Second Amendment advocates. It's been an incredible journey standing up for our rights and meeting outstanding individuals along the way. However, our fight is far from over. Recently, an egregious bill passed the Senate threatening our freedoms. But fear not, because together we are a formidable force. We must remain vigilant, keep our eyes on the sky, and continue to fight for our rights. It's crucial that we unite, vote, and stay informed. Let's work with organizations like GOAL to make our voices heard loud and clear. Together we can protect our Second Amendment rights for generations to come. GOAL is the Gun Owners Action League in Massachusetts. And it's got a candle here with a copy of the Constitution, and I wonder what that is. Probably a little tiny Constitution in a bottle. I've never seen those. That must be a thing on the East Coast. This was from February 8th, so definitely a while ago, talking about the passing of the sporting blade ban. Let's see. The call to action to support a ban on spring blades being repealed. But it sounds like Washington's now got something going on with FFLs, so they may have bigger fish to fry. This is Tony Simon posting, replying to Armed Atlas, and let's see. He has a couple of points here, so I don't know what Armed Atlas's post was, but Tony's reply was, have more than one. I'm assuming AR-15. You need one for home defense, one for a backup to the home defense gun, one all-purpose build, one pistol caliber carbine, one retro rifle, one extra if close friends or family needs one immediately, 2 pistols or SBRs, and 300 blackout. 6 to 8 is a good start for AR-15s. Now let's talk about AR-10s. So it's kind of funny, but at the same point, that's sort of the point of an AR-10, is it's a platform that can be configured into lots of different situations. So definitely can apply for lots of different sports, lots of different hunting, lots of different roles, and then you can also just make one look the way you want. You're allowed to do that. So unlike a car, which can cost you thousands of dollars, if not way more than that, or a lot of other hobbies, you can configure a new rifle for way less than $1,000 and make it look just like you want. Make another one look way different, but for a different purpose or a different style. So certainly good points there. Then he says over on the right side here, the AR-15, America's rifle, according to Gun Control Inc., it's Schrodinger's AR-15. The weapon so powerful it shouldn't be in the hands of American citizens, while simultaneously being so weak as to be powerless against a tyrannical government because it's not an F-15 airplane. AR-15s are lightweight, compact, dependable, accurate, easily accessorized, well-designed firearms. A majority of Americans, regardless of size, gender, or experience, can be trained to use them to defend themselves effectively with less effort and less training than many other types of firearms. The purpose of the Second Amendment is that its citizens should have ownership of the same firearms as government. Tony does a great job of concisely putting a bunch of good points in here, but this whole idea of the Schrodinger's cat, the Schrodinger's AR-15, it's the AR-15, the same gun, is both so weak that it can't stand up to a government, but it's so powerful that it shouldn't be in the hands of the citizens. So they definitely have it both ways. They don't just want it both ways. The narrative is both directions, so they went a lot on that one. Stephen Holbrook, let's see, helping the Nazis get rid of the French transgressors as gun ownership fell to the Vichy government, promoted most vigorously by this guy, whatever his name is. The most notorious collaborator with the Germans, this guy, was an opportunist who is perceived as holding perhaps the most sinister place in French history. Forgotten is the fact that his prime minister, that guy, had decreed the registration of firearms. After the French defeat, 5 years later, specifying specifically that the French police would administer occupied France under direction of the Germans, how easily it must have been to ferret out registered gun owners who had not yet surrendered their firearms. Just a little more insight into how the bullshit Nazi crap happened, not immediately, but through little compromises and transgressions. All right, well, we're going to have some kind of a pause here. Nobody's listening anyway, and I got to go put out a buckets. It's starting to rain here. I did not anticipate that, so I got to go put some buckets out. I think this is pretty long.
Hey, did you know that you could help support our future projects and let everyone know you're a fan of what we do? Check out our print-on-demand store. We have a tab here on YouTube. When you click on it, you can choose from a bunch of different items. We have shirts and posters and coffee mugs. Click on the one you like. When you find the design you want to put on it, choose a color and a size if it's appropriate. And when you purchase these items, a portion goes to help fund our future projects. We really do appreciate your support. You get some cool stuff. When you get that stuff, post pictures here and on other platforms, and we'll hook you up next time you order from our Gear website store. Thank you for your support of gunwebsites.com.
Should have done that before the show. That's what co-hosts are supposed to do. He doesn't do any of the chores around here that he's supposed to. All right, where'd my coffee go? There it is. Hold on. There we are. No, you don't get to drink any of it. Got a little cup of coffee here. Ugh, that's super cold. Is this warm? That's good hot, so I'll drink it out of the thermos. Let's see, we were doing some sort of a show over here. Well, Ron Wayne's the only one joining us today. People no longer want to watch this show live. We'll just start scripting this show. I'll have the AI do it. Then the co-host can have more puppy time. He says, then I can go outside and be a puppy instead of having to sit here watching a podcast. Oh. All right, so we got AmericanSnipers.org hanging out at, where were they at? Great American Outdoor Show. They didn't get to hang out at SHOT Show. They pretty much kick them out of SHOT Show usually. Not allowed to have you're not allowed to have nonprofits there. But for many, 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 many years, let's see, this will be 19 years of SHOT Show essentially. This was probably 12 of them. We've been buying stuff from American Snipers until they started cutting down on the ability to take donations at a show. But this is what they would do. They would set up a booth or a portion of a booth sometimes with some stuff, some challenge coins and some patches, cigarette lighters, knickknacks and things that are kind of cool looking merch instead of, just the normal stuff. And, I guess some hats and stickers too. But, all donations, and they would raise money for the AmericanSnipers.org. Great organization's been around doing stuff for a long time for, guess what, snipers. I really like this one. It's somebody spray painted on some piece of wood. I could have done that. Signed by the person who never does shit. So, super easy to get frustrated once in a while. See this kind of attitude, but guess what? Everybody has their ups and their downs, right? So, if you didn't do shit yesterday, you could do shit tomorrow. If you did a bunch of shit yesterday, it doesn't mean shit today. Keep doing shit. Let's see. Liberty Justice Center. We are thrilled with the court's decision to grant this injunction and uphold Nebraskans' right against executive overreach. Under Nebraska law, local governments do not have the authority to regulate firearms. The right to bear arms is protected across the state. The court rightly blocked the mayor's order and will now proceed towards a final order, striking it down permanently. So you've got the Liberty Justice Center focused on Nebraska. See what they did with the trigger guard here in the shape of Nebraska? Pretty cool. I don't know who does the marketing or the media for this, but that was pretty quick. Pretty cool. No flags were harmed in this either. Now think all the people that are going to have a fit because of it's a Glock silhouette. How horrible for them. This is Kayla Jones, a singer.
By my really good friend, Antonia Okafor, and I was one of the first ambassadors for her Empowered 2A movement.
So she's helping promote the Empowered 2A project that's happening this weekend, I think, in Texas. She's got 257,000 followers. Got unapologetically armed. So it says, Aloha, Hawaii Supreme Court says there's no individual right to keep and bear arms under Article 1, Section 17. So there's no constitutional right to carry a firearm in public for possible self-defense. And then Unapologetically Armed replied to that with, they cheer the notion of leaving us all utterly defenseless while having the gall to pretend it's about public safety. Dream on. That was a reply to, I'm assuming, I don't know who that is. Somebody who was on Twitter, maybe? It says, despite their fervent efforts, more Americans, including women, are becoming gun owners. There's a lot of us, and there's no good reason to change that. How is it? How it's going to stay. Okay, I get that. Mike White's joining us. Welcome. Just you and Ron Wayne here today. Let's see. We'll move on to the next one. This one's kind of neat.
They're all Asian.
And I'm glad
they're
you said
from the
that.
Sudan. Like, they're from different countries, homie, and these are all men, military-age men. There ain't no women and children at the border. There's a gang of men that are my kids' age. I tell my kids all the time, hey, mijo, look at all these vatos that are coming right here. They're all coming right here, a gang of them. They're getting ready for something.
Now, let me ask you this. Well, it's not a question. I'm glad you brought that up because whenever we say the border, whenever we say immigrants, everybody's ignorance always thinks too. Why are you talking about Mexican? Why are you talking about raza?
Yeah.
And it's not true, bro. Everybody's coming in.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And it's the stupidest thing, too, for them to say, the majority of people that come over here or across the border is raza. No, it's fucking not. It never has been. You think the raza down there is fucking really trying to come to America for a better way of life? No. They only come over here because the currency is way higher. That's it. And to help the families down there. That's it.
Yeah.
The currency. That's it. If not, you think they're going to want to cross the border to come over here to this fucking bullshit over here?
Right.
The fake ass food, all that. They got farmland over there. You know what I mean? They got land. They grow real food over there. All the immigrants coming at the borders, not Raza.
Right.
They're all Asian.
So that's a pretty interesting conversation. This one's from Diana Mueller. She says, language alert for those, I guess I didn't say that ahead of time, but for those that can hear. For those that can see. So essentially this is an interesting conversation. I'd like to hear the whole thing. But this is two people talking about the border issue from a totally different point of view than you typically hear. This one's from a cool gun shop in Illinois. When the humans are too close to finding you and you got to become the Glock Ness monster. And it's the Loch Ness monster holding a Glock. Pretty awesome. A bunch of people are cringing on this. That's why they don't watch this show, because they can't handle all the Glock pictures. Let's see. ClashNicon prior attendees with an email with the link to register went out this morning. This was posted on February 10th. It's filling up fast. Don't sleep if you're planning to make it. So ClashNicon is one of the 3 yearly-ish annual get-togethers or focused on the Kalashnikov. This one is in Missouri, and this one's going to be on May 10th through the 12th. Let's put that into the under the calendar. I haven't had a chance to go to any of these. They're a little weird, but I would definitely like to check them out sometime. Got Chris joining us. Welcome. Hopefully everything's going good in Ohio. There's another one from Carrie Ann O'Clair. I'm guessing this is an older one. I've seen this a million times, but this one is a lever action rifle. It says this is a rifle. Then there's a bolt action, old fashioned like 70s bolt action rifle. It says this is a rifle. And then it's got a, I don't know, some kind of a, like old Bushmaster Car 15. And it says this is also just a rifle. Assault is an action, not an object. So hopefully you've seen this a million times already. I guess in the middle there it says it's from Modern Musket, but really this has been around for a long, long time. And it's cool to see new gun owners utilizing these, what are these? These like challenges to the perceptions. And when we have more people using these, it's, you know, we're moving away from that my rights, my property bullshit. Now it's like, hey, where are you even mad at? Why are you even upset about this when it's really just this? You know, so this is some really effective strategy, and I like to see the number of people using this tactic.
I have a challenge. Womenforgunrights.org. Womenforgunrights.org. Teresa, if you could get me a picture that I can post on the internet of Tony Simon wearing a cropped cut Women for Gun Rights steel shirt, I will make a $500 donation to Women for Gun Rights.
Oh, I'm on this. I'm all over this.
Okay. Everybody out there want to share this and share this show with Tony, because I'm waiting for him to contact me to be on the show. So I want him to wear a teal shirt, cut, cropped.
In
So the challenge accepted. It's all how you rap it, from north to the southwest to the east.
I have.
So that was for high. I think it was name. Anyway, Gunfire. It occurred a picture of Tony Simon with a crop on. Did that, and he did $500 to Women for Gun Rights. Pretty fun thing to go kind of entwine with the Ambassador Academy this year. This is a great inspirational one from, I don't know who this is, Colin Wright, but posted by a gun our channel. It says you have exactly one life in which to do everything you'll ever do. Act accordingly. When you get older, those become more poignant, I think. Maybe when you're young, you think of that kind of stuff, but when you get old, those get more poignant when you're old. So this is the Bass Reeves Gun Club. This is episode 1 of their podcast.
But I really do think that the fear that people do have, most of it, if not all of it, is principally driven by these large entities that have control over platforms and messaging.
That being said, should we not own any guns? Because I use an instance coming from a rural community. So in a rural community, we were faced with two stages of fear. So we were worried about the perception of us as Black people from the white community, because how we were being seen in the news as we were the ones committing the majority of the crime, but also from us as in the Black community that we don't want to put ourselves in the spotlight by owning a weapon. So we'd rather just stay low and dry and don't have anybody looking at us incorrectly by owning a gun.
So it's always been that perception that if you had a gun, then you were up to no good. When I moved here and found out that I can actually carry a firearm to protect myself, that was, for lack of a better term, liberating.
The Black community is not a monolith.
Definitely worth checking out this podcast. Anytime you're going to play into the big ass narrative of us all fighting each other, we lose. So let's get rid of my rights, my property, my fear, and let's get into the how dare you challenges to gun confiscation and gun control. So Bass Reeves Gun Club, really cool. Bass Reeves, of course, is the guy they pulled the Long Ranger off of. It's probably copywriting me. Gun owners ignoring the Super Bowl. They used to be like that. It sounds like recently all these gun owners are sports people now. So now gun owners are sports people. It's frustrating because sports hates guns. They've always hated guns, and they seriously hate guns. They blame guns every time they need to, and they fucking hate guns. So supporting sports makes no sense to me, but do what you want to do. This one is from Meet the Pressers. And I'm going to go back so we get the whole thing, but it's a video, and I've got it muted right now. But why do we need more than 10 round magazines, you ask? This is one reason, and this is what happens when you walk up on a wild boar. Now, this is not a wild boar. This is the dog sleeping over here being a bad co-host. But now we'll turn this on, and we'll go back to that one and see what happens. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 25, maybe 27 shots in that one. So they must have done something to piss off these wild pigs. And so they the pigs started charging these two idiots. And instead of climbing up a tree or something, they just tried to run away in the snow from a bunch of pigs that are in pursuit of them, and fired off something like 27 shots. There's nothing you're going to do. You can't, people think because critters are small that somehow you can hit them with one bullet. Every one of those rounds could have hit something. It's not called harvesting. It's called hunting. You can't shoot something in the head and it just drops. That's fake movie bullshit. You can't hit somebody in their car in the back end and have it blow up. You've never heard of a car blowing up. You know that cars don't blow up. You can take that away from movies, but everybody thinks guns are magic, and if you touch somebody with a bullet, they drop over. This is an excellent example of when there's something trying to kill you, you ain't going to hurt it with a bullet most of the time. You got to really incapacitate its bones. You got to stop it from being able to move towards you. If you're lucky, you can get something in an eye socket, but you don't just shoot into a skull. They're designed to not let bullets in. So, it's not the best example ever, but it's certainly an example of why you'd want to be hunting with high capacity, large capacity, higher over the normal capacity, an actual definition of large capacity magazines when you're out hunting around boars. I've known that since I was a little kid. People would bring out 1911s because they had more rounds than revolvers when they were out bow hunting. People would bring out 2 revolvers when they were bow hunting. They'd bring out like a lever action when they were bow hunting because you can miss a pig and have to really start defending yourself. Spoiler alert, that's why people used to go bow hunting, because you're actually fighting something that can fight you and that will try killing you. Bears don't necessarily try killing you. You can you can get a bear to try to kill you, but most bears don't have any interest in killing you, but pigs will. Anyway, let's move on. This is Tony actually doing the also that we'll be upgrading the website here with all the new date 2024. So this one just happened. As soon as he got back from Ambassador Academy, he had a 2A4E event at Gun for Hire. Alan Anchor has puppies. This is one of their puppies. See, all puppies just sit around being lazy all the time. Let's see. Recently purchased this book on Kindle. I've got to say that if you're interested in this sort of thing, it's worth the price. I've been out of this game so long, I didn't know the latest technology, and this goes over it well. However, that means this section will also become outdated itself at some point. But if you keep up with the Brush Beat or Tactical website, there's loads of up-to-date info there on a variety of subjects, especially communications related. So this is from Soldier Systems Daily, and one of the original channels out there to follow. Not channels, but like websites out there, and then they've been around before us, so they were just a website back in the day, an online news journal essentially, and one of the best ones. So whenever they say talk about something, it's worth checking it out. So I haven't looked at this one yet, but I'll be checking it out. I'm assuming it's because of the way it's drawn here, this is some sort of a mesh situation. So again, radios are a ripoff. Radios of the olden days. Don't use radios. Radios are for people, just promoted by people trying to sell you radios anymore. Get digital communications if you're going to be worried about communications. Got a bunch of people joining us now. Thanks to everybody for joining in. Got Snob out there. AR Patriot. AR Guns. 1776. I'm going to keep saying that. Ron Wayne, Chris, and Mike White. Welcome, everybody. It's like Ron Wayne became a channel member. Thank you. I need to do more posts on the channel member side. I forget that I have that option. I don't do it enough. Let's see. So the NSSF is talking about the ATF and their zero tolerance policy. It's ATF is showing the public that the zero tolerance policy they apply to firearms retailers doesn't seem to apply inside of the Bureau. When it comes to the administrative oversight of federal laws, there appear to be serious issues within ATF. There are disturbing reports that ATF officials have been misclassifying non-law enforcement positions within the Bureau as law enforcement, including for some positions in leadership. If true, that's a violation of federal law, and it appears to have been happening for decades. On top of breaking federal law, these violations have potentially cost American taxpayers nearly $88 million. Holding accountable is something that we can't assume that people are going to be taken or held accountable for their actions. When we get things like this that show up, these are another tactic, these are another angle to address the frustrations with bureaucracy. As we have more ability and we utilize our technology to communicate more effectively, we can have more attacks on those who are hiding in the bureaucracy to do heinous shit like this. So essentially, it sounds like they were changing some job titles around, more than likely giving people law enforcement status to get overtime or some sort of extra pay, and then allowing that to happen for a long time is maybe some kind of fake ass bonus or some sort of let's screw the taxpayer because we can and nobody ever holds us accountable. Well, if you expect a representative to hold them accountable, how many things you want to sit and wait for? This is the kind of thing that we have three-letter organizations at the national level that make millions of dollars every year, and they make more and more as they generate fear and the perception that everybody's out to fucking get us. Well, we have opportunities like this one to do something about it. Let's hope that it doesn't just become one single article on the NSSF website. Who the hell is even watching NSSF, really? This particular one has this many likes. It's a pretty good number of likes, actually. I was going to be frustrated that no one's seen it, but that does look like a good number of likes. So let's hope that this one doesn't just sit there. Speaking of not just sitting there, Craig DeLuz is running for U.S. Congress for California. We want people to do things in California. Well, a lot of people haul ass out of California. Craig's still there. He's running for Congress, for crying out loud. So, we can help people in the ways that we can help them. I can't vote in California, but I can let people know that Craig DeLuz is running for Congress in California. He's definitely been on our side for a very long time. And he's active in politics. He's probably one of the best things we've got going for us as far as a candidate goes. Can you imagine him on the long run, where he's going to be able to go with his experience and motivation? I mean, we got Rebecca. Let's get Craig in there, add him to the list. Let's see, Pets for Vets, one of the cool organizations. They place dogs and cats with veterans. I guess they probably do other pets too. What is it, boy? You want to go out? You want to play fetch? You want something to eat? And that dog is thinking, I want you to get out of my chair. I get that a lot because little dude here will jump into this chair that I'm sitting in whenever I leave. And there's times when I could tell he just wants me to leave so he can have his chair back.
It's being proactive.
So there's a 2-hour video that you just need to watch it. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. I think it could easily be the most useful thing that happened at SHOT Show this year. This is a cut from it.
Instead of reactive.
We decided that we wanted to bring this conversation about suicide prevention to the largest firearm show in the world.
Dying by suicide is a contagion. We know that it's a contagious thing, as is depression.
The fact that veteran suicide is still a major problem. What we're doing doesn't seem to be working.
A man without purpose is like an Australian shepherd without a job to do, right? They're neurotic. They feel useless. They're antsy all the time, right? And, when that itch doesn't get scratched, it turns inward.
When you're on that verge, there's certain things that you can pick up on.
There's help out there. Don't commit suicide. But at the moment I say suicide, dude, they just...
When I wanted to kill myself, what were the signs that you saw? I wasn't eating. I lost a ton of weight. I couldn't stop crying. I was sleeping a lot.
Somebody comes to basic training, we train them up, right? Then they go to the unit to get more trained up. We don't train their mind at all.
Why am I positive? Because I know what the other side looks like.
They cut off one of the more important pieces there, but this was an epic conversation. I've linked to it on the community. What's it called? The community tab over on the YouTube. So let me just grab it real quick and I'll put it in the link of this. But seriously, make the time to watch this one. It's a lot of people who are doing a lot, like giant people that have accomplished a lot of things, getting together. And like they say, for a good chunk of SHOT Show, where they definitely didn't need to. And I can guarantee you nobody takes time like this away from SHOT Show. This was a massive
Making
effort.
great tires matters.
So it's created by the Independence Fund. And there's... Oh, shit. What am I doing? Let's not link it there. How about I link it in our actual video over here? Here's a link to it. It's posted by some other channel, the Drinking Brothers, some kind of 225,000 sub
Drinking
channel.
Bros podcast, Ross Patterson and Dan Holloway. All right, Ross,
I don't know if it's a veteran thing or if it's a sports thing, but it's some kind of popular podcast. But they posted the live stream of this, and it is, let me go back to it. I just posted the link there. It's an hour and 43 minutes, and it's the best 2 hours. It's the reason SHOT Show this year is definitely the best SHOT Show. Nobody brings Second Amendment shit to SHOT Show. There's definitely military, and there's definitely the whole popularity contest kind of thing that's happened over the last 10 years. This brought the pinnacle of a lot of that shit together with a dedicated focus. There was VA in the room, and the Independence Fund is definitely it's getting to be my first favorite organization at this point. If you haven't checked them out, definitely worth your time, worth your resources. So they bring together a bunch of good people for an hour and 45 minutes. They have this real communication there. That one guy in the middle of this.
It's being proactive instead of reactive.
I guess I can't fast forward, but there's a section there where the one YouTuber guy says, you say suicide, and by saying the word, our channel gets dropped to a status where you're not allowed to be seen or whatever. So when you've got issues like that, when the logarithms on platforms are going to catch the words and not understand the setting, you get very difficult chance to get the word out. And this is a super, not just critical, but this one is definitely of the things that we have available to us with all the court cases and all of that. This is one that we see the end of a gun challenge. Again, if we want to truly end the debate over guns, that's awareness and education. And this is a majority, if not all of the numbers that we see come from this. Because while this is focused on veterans and the issues that veterans have, the same concepts and tactics and strategies can be applied to other sections of society. And whether it be broken homes, whether it be lack of like something to do, constructive time effort, whether it be education, whatever the situation you want to slice it into to divide everybody, these same similar focuses. And this situation to cure the suicide issue cures other things because it goes to the root issues instead of addressing the consequences of the root issues. Excellent, worth your time. I'm going to be listening to it for like the third time here probably today. Later on today, because it's that worthwhile to listen to. So many good key points. I'm hoping that they put it into one of these AI blenders where it pulls out all the little snippets that are useful, because there's so many in this one. All right. Rich keeps sending over pictures of this tank, so he must have checked out a tank place on the way to go into the Great American Show. Or, yeah, it says on our way. I was going to say, or it's at the Great American Show. But, I don't know. Was Rich in the cavalry or something? In the armored cavalry? What do they call it? Mobile artillery? I don't know what they call it. Tanks. My only experience with tanks is being a little kid playing on them, but they're cool. If you want to go check out some awesome tanks, FYI, is there tanks there? If you want to see some awesome static displays outside, go to the 45th Infantry Division Museum in Oklahoma City. It's right off the highway. Totally worth your time. It's one of the best private collections. It's a private collection of about 600 and almost 700 guns, and they're arranged by the campaigns, and pretty much every campaign that the United States has been in. And it's a private collection that's now maintained by the 45th Infantry Division. And their outside area, this isn't an old artillery situation, like an old World War I, maybe World War II artillery barracks, and what do we call it, like fort, I guess. And so all the area around it is static displays, different planes and equipment on pads like this. Actually, some smaller pads, but same kind of thing. Really neat.
Good morning, everybody. Mark with Delmar. Something different at Lake Kauai this morning. And we're working to make some magic. So let's spin this around real quick. We have something that hasn't been here before. We got some lightning trout, some albino trout, some white trout, or yellow trout, whatever you want to label it. But they are going to be here for the Fishing Derby. So that's this weekend, guys. We worked with Calaveras Trout Farms to put this together with Riverside County Park, Lake Kauai, to give you guys something we haven't seen here before.
How cool is this? So this is a really cool gun shop. Somewhere in California, Indio, California, maybe. And I've been following their channel for a while. They just do some innovative stuff. And stocking a lake, how cool is that? I don't know if this is great or not, but it's California lake, so I'm assuming it's like ours, just a bunch of reservoirs. So it's not like there are any native fish. It's whatever fish they put in there. So as long as they're not invasive or hurting anything, and I'm assuming they're not, 2,700 pounds of fish right before a fishing contest. That's pretty freaking cool. So normalizing guns, getting guns into community, gun shops are doing it, right? Gun shops and gun shows, that's what's going to help. So Rebecca Schmoy is posting this. I'll read the post first. It says, it's just a bunch of text. Every time a deranged criminal commits a crime with a gun, we endure a new round of people demanding that everyone who did not commit the crime give up their most effective and efficient tool to protect themselves against the very evil which committed the crime. Then it has another slide that says, a criminal committed a crime. You must give up your right now. No. Don't you care that people are dying? Of course I care. That's why I will be keeping my best option for personal protection. Then they say, you're unreasonable and evil. How dare you value your guns over people's lives? She replies, it's not unreasonable to be prepared to protect myself and those I love. I value lives. That's why I train to protect them with a gun. Being defenseless in the presence of evil is a choice. However, it is not a choice you get to make for others. So this approach, my rights, my property, in a different message, at a time when, like she says, like clockwork, the criminal commits a crime, providing beyond a shadow of a doubt that evil exists, and the calls to make you defenseless in the face of that evil erupt immediately. Being defenseless in the face of evil is a choice. However, it's not a choice you get to make for others. Epic, epic, epic. And hopefully it's going to get across. She's a elected official, and she's got more reach, and hopefully the reach of people on the other side who at some time, people aren't fixed. So at some points, people have to become more open-minded. Even if they're not open-minded, if they just see her message because they wouldn't have never looked for a message, and this time it's in front of them. And even if they regurgitate the message without agreeing with it, I guess, that might still be accomplished. And that's how we chip away. That's how we remove the Overton window. So it's frustrating to not see it happen immediately, but these are indications these are the pieces that move us back that other way. So imagine if we didn't have Rebecca on our side. And imagine if we had 15 Rebeccas on our side. Evil exists. That's an undeniable. After the heinous criminal attack on the thing in in Kansas City today, I am grateful for the first responders who ended the threat. My heart hurts for all of those who witnessed that evil firsthand. Human life is sacred. We must get back to accepting that truth and expecting protection of life in our society. Okay. So I guess that's maybe her official tweet on it. I don't know why I put that one in there. Then we got Stevens, Holbrook. Let's see. So this it says, let me transport you back in time a little over 5 decades. In the late 1960s, rates of violent crime were skyrocketing. In large American cities, in the decade between 1960 and 1970, reports of robberies to the police rose over 400%. Homicides nearly doubled. American cities, which had before been safe for women and children to navigate freely, even alone at night, became hazardous. American urban life was transformed. Crime seemed to be spiraling out of control. In an effort to stem the violence and fear, officials and legislatures in cities and states hit upon the idea of restricting guns. They got encouragement from former U.S. Attorney General Ramsey Clark's 1970s book, Crime in America. Clark had launched his anti-gun campaign while in office in 1968. Handgun ownership, and especially carrying a gun in public, was forbidden for many law-abiding citizens. This policy was and is called liberal. Nothing could be further from the truth. And then it quotes the guy where all that's from. From the foreword in the book, Right to Bear Arms, a constitutional right of the people, or is it a privilege of the ruling class? So, okay. Then it says, the misappropriation of the term liberal to describe policies that are actually statist is a public relations triumph of exactly the kind that Orwell warned us against. So that's kind of the lead up first and then the post over here. So the idea that liberal applying to the fascist idea of taking guns from everyone because only the state can have power and authority is the last, it's totally not liberal. But we'll just keep moving on because it's going to be a long one. We're an hour in. I try to do this show before Cape Gunworks starts their show, Rapid Fire Radio. But I have a lot to chat about since we didn't do the show for a couple weeks here. Which isn't my fault. It's the fault of the puppy co-host who's lazy. He doesn't do the show when he needs to or get the show prep done. So we're looking at Who Dares Wins. It's the name of this movie. Who knows the other name of this movie? Oh, it says it right there. So this is again from Soldier Systems. Says released in the U.S. as the final option. This 1982 British thriller was named Who Dares Wins after the motto of the SAS, a Special Air Service, a shadowy special operations unit a few had heard of at that point. Interestingly, the star of the movie, Lewis Collins, served in the Territorial Army as a paratrooper and even undertook SAS selection, but was not badged due to his notoriety, because he worked his notoriety in the TV series The Professionals. Collins' son serves in the 82nd Airborne in the U.S. Army. Epic movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch this movie right now. It's epic. It's a great movie. Man, was that a good movie. Imagine being a little kid in the 82, whenever that came out, and watching that movie on a VCR. Actually, it was on cable, and then we got to watch it on a VCR a while later, but we got to watch that in 1982. It was like better than any kind of robot science fiction. It was the best shit ever. All right, so this is Kim Rhodes winning another gold medal. Kim Lilly is the 6-time Olympic gold medalist, and that guy next to her is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist. So are people even paying attention that we're winning gold right now? Kim is again. 6-time world bucket list. How often do you even see Kim doing anything? Every once in a while I've heard of her, but nobody's really talking to her. I guess she's just always practicing. 6-time Olympic medalist for shooting shotgun. Do they talk about that on the sports? I don't really watch the sports, but like we talked about earlier, there's a lot of sports people out there. Do they ever bring up that we got a 6-time? I think that was one of the most living gold medalists, right? So we got Unapologetically Armed posting this from, well, I don't know where she's posting this from. I'm just assuming this is from Women for Gun Rights, but I guess I don't know. It says defensive use of firearms. Defensive use of firearms. 31.1% of gun owners, or approximately 25.3 million adult Americans, have used a gun in self-defense. In most cases, 81% the gun is not fired. Approximately 1.6 million defensive uses of firearms per year. Then it says majority of defensive gun uses take place outside the home, 74%, and many, 51%, involve more than one assailant. Says the last one says handguns are most commonly used in defensive incidents, 65%, followed by shotguns, 21%, and rifles, 13%. This is from a 2021 National Firearms Survey by the Georgetown University. We need to be citing this more often. So when you hear people cite old-ass John Lott disputed shit, you know, all the respect due to John Lott for doing what he did back in the day. This is from the 2021. 2021. Oh, crap. All right, now we'll see what it's like to have to go find the thing we just found, clicked off of or whatever here. Oh, look, we're back to Dragon Man. So just post from Dragon Man, and he's sitting on this crazy looking bike, and he's got a picture of, I don't know, I think that's the ticket, and then another picture of the bike with the mountains in the background. And I don't know when it says. It says 33 years ago. So he says, Dragon Man says, it's been 33 years since I got this record-breaking speeding ticket. Probably the fastest on record in the state of Colorado. 168 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. It took 2 years to construct this motorcycle. It is registered in the state of Colorado as a 4-cylinder home-built motorcycle. The frame is made out of tubing. It has all this stuff, and I pulled, okay, blah, blah, blah. I don't know all this stuff about the engine. It had okay, whatever. It has a bunch of engine parts on it. I took it out for a test ride on Highway 94. That's right down the block from Dragon Man. The road is as straight as an arrow. I was headed east towards someplace after my test ride. I pulled over to put it back on the trailer, and that's when the cop pulled over, got out of his patrol car, and said, "Who the hell do you think you are? I clocked you at 168 miles per hour. and he showed me the handheld radar detector. Anyway, his lawyer decided he was close enough to an airport that he must have been catching an airplane that was taken off, so he got a ticket. But then he says he doesn't own it anymore. It was in a 1992 Easy Rider magazine, and he finally sold it to the Harley-Davidson shop in Paris, France. So it's in Paris, France today, and it was in a magazine, and he got a 168-mile speeding ticket in it. You could go hang out with Dragon Man in the best collection of firearms on the planet. You're living in the era of Dragon Man. Just saying. Our friend Bullet for Bucks was up at the Western Hunt Expo. I hope to get up to that next year. Looks like it's pretty cool. Start talking to more hunting people and whatnot. A lot of cool gear and what. And this was at Salt Lake City. So it's an excuse to get up to Salt Lake City. I follow a lot of gun shops, and this one's called Clayton's Range. And this is a throwback from the late 1980s. Very cool. Definitely a Red Dawn looking gun shop with the boxes like setting like this.
So how do you make the Olympic team? In America. In the US, we have what's called an Olympic trials system. We have to have the Olympic trial system. We're not allowed to use coach's pick or any other method. But the Olympic trial system is going to look a little bit different every 4 years. This year, what it is for the rifle team is 3 competitions spread out over 6 months, which are each 2 days. So you get 6 total scores, your lowest one is dropped, and then that gives you your overall score. Depending on the event, depending on our quotas, the top 1 or 2 gets on the Olympic team. So how do you make the Olympic team? In America. In the US, we have what's called an Olympic trial system. We have to have the Olympic trial system.
So unfortunately, Ginny didn't get to the team this year, but her channel is still doing great. And essentially, if you're looking for a liaison or like a translator or a summary, I guess, of what's going on with the Olympics, it's a lot to keep track of for sure. And it's about 60% sports, right? So it's difficult if you're not a sports person to keep up with this stuff. She does a great job of describing the different rules or the different things that'll be going on, and then like this, some insight behind the scenes, so that it's just a little less unapproachable. Help normalize in firearms. Awesome channel to watch, by the way. Let's see. So this is what's his face saying, "Too bad they don't teach civics on Twitter. I wish it was this easy." Well, it's probably the wrong thing to say in front of Maj. So he says, "I literally teach a civics class, online course, and curriculum for those who want to sit with the material. Everyone interested, here's the links." And he's got the link to the solutionaryuniversity.org and the page on it for the Civics and Liberty 101. You can, like he says, download the curriculum. Then he's got a couple of pictures of screenshots from it.
The reason why you're so frustrated is because you're functioning on an old software internally. And life is demanding an upgrade.
So it has to be frustrating when you're literally putting stuff out there and people on the other side are, I don't know, just completely horking off of it, I guess the way to say it. Maybe they do it intentionally, though. They know it makes good, what's it called? Good back and forth on on the platforms. This is a voluntary channel, talking about voluntary ideas and things like that. It says good ideas don't require force. That's a great message that we don't leave. We just leave that sitting on the table. We just leave it sitting on the table. So, if they want to challenge our right to own firearms so much, why do they have to force it? Like, if it was such a great idea, why do they have to force it? I think that's a good one. That'd be interesting to see if that works. If that has any, if that challenge has any result from people who are in the middle. Liberal gun owners, you don't hear from it too often. At least I don't. They don't post that much. Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast presents Liberal Gun Owner Developer, somebody Bacon. So, Woods is going to listen now. All you have to say is Bacon twice, and then he shows up. Says we pull back the curtain and let people hear the jazz riffs of the LGO development reality, the real talk. Bacon and somebody give a taste of the mindsets that have both established and pushed it forward. So I'm curious to check that one out. It says link in the description. I haven't listened to it yet, though. It's from the 15th. Dang, it's raining again. Edgar up at Guns for Everyone in Colorado. I'm not saying he's the only Spanish speaker in the 2A community, but I don't know of anybody else that's on Univision all the time, being a representative for essentially freedom. So again, you can support stuff that's got plenty of support, or you can support people getting shit fucking done. Let's see. Now it is not the appropriate time to be taking up those bills, and therefore they will not be brought up this session. This is the quote from Missouri House Majority Leader Jonathan Patterson. He's the idiot who killed the public transit and church carry bills because of his perceived optics after what happened with the gang shooting with the sports. So instead of blaming sports or the gangs or the media for misrepresenting all of it, he buckled to the perception. Weak, ineffective representation, and in front of a wicked ass mural for is that Benton? I think I remember that guy's Benton. I forgot how Missouri has that guy. That's a wicked ass mural. If unapologetically armed is ever in that room and wants to take a bunch of pictures and post those on Instagram, that's one of our American mural painters from back in the day. Does amazing, just super cool murals. Definitely cooler than these people who are standing up to take a selfie with, oppression and infringement. It's frustrating, but not everything's going to go our way. And who needs support when bullshit like this happens? The people that are getting crushed by it, right? So again, it's easy to support people when everything's going your way, but when people are getting crushed, they don't necessarily come back all the way, and they don't necessarily come back. So everything we can do to support the people that are getting walloped on, or you can do nothing. You don't have to do shit. I'm just saying stuff on the internet. MMP Guns is one of the sponsors of our 2A rally here in Arizona. Plus, they're the only people that really give out patches at the rally. So I'm appreciative of them for a couple of reasons. And they set up a booth at the rally. They probably are selling some T-shirts and stuff. I think I've been to the shop, but not since I realized, it was a long time ago, not since I realized they're supporting the rally. So I'd like to get up and visit that shop sooner than later. I also need to go check on my bucket sooner than later. It sounds like it's raining even harder right now. I'm surprised my internet's even working. So we've got Matt from Meet the Pressers hanging out at Arms Room Radio in Florida, I'm assuming. So that's interesting. Next, you got Stephen Holbrook. He says, I discussed the upcoming Supreme Court case on whether about bump stocks or machine guns in the Garland versus Cargill in the Federalist Society webinar. Presentation begins at, is that right? 10:45? No. 11:45? Wait, what the hell? No, yeah, 10:45? No. Anyway, 21:45. And later there are questions and answers. What the hell is 21? 9? Been a long time, I guess. Yeah, it'd be 9:45. That's messed up. That's late at night, and why are they doing it with the dumbass 24-hour clock? The issue is whether ATF has power to adopt regulation expanding the definition of a machine gun in the National Firearms Act. Sub-issues are whether or not an agency may expand on definitions of crimes enacted by Congress consistent with the separation of powers, and the extent to which the existing definition is ambiguous and thus must be interpreted narrowly under the rule of lenity. So the things that are happening have, they're either right or wrong, and the way you determine that is a bunch of people sit around and determine that. So I guess this is one of those discussion groups for it. I don't know. Where's anybody watching this? If this was by itself, I think a bunch of people would have watched it. With all the other stuff going on, I wonder how many people paid attention to this. Thanks. 2100 is 9. I always have to go backwards. From 22 is 10, and it was just having a glitch trying to talk and think at the same time there. Oh, he also said Dragon Man's 2 daughters are into guns also and have YouTube channels. Well, the one daughter has a YouTube channel, but then Melissa runs Dragon Man's gun YouTube channel and stuff. So Melissa's running the store and the YouTube channel for Dragon Man's. But yeah, 2 channels, and yeah, we're living in the era of Dragon Man. You know what I'm saying? You go hang out at Dragon Man's, meet Melissa, and hang out in that cool gun shop, which is, it's one of the cooler gun shops in the world, period. And then, go there when the museum's open, and then go hang out in the museum for 2 hours. Everything in the museum's real. Come on. You're living in that world. That's the era we live in. Every minute you're not going to Dragon Man, every penny you're not paying on going to Dragon Man is a decision you made. I mean, I understand it. It's easy to not go to Dragon Man's, but you could have gone to Dragon Man's. I mean, I'm not saying it's going anywhere. Hopefully it'll be there for a long, 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 long time. And then I'll just be able to say, yeah, you could have been gone to Dragon Man's way back when it was little. All right, so now we got Schrodinger's gun again. Simultaneously useless against the military and a weapon of war that no civilian should own. We've definitely left this one on the table far too long. So this one needs to come into our vernacular. Is that the right word? It needs to come into our often used debates. Is that the right word? So this is from 1 Million Moms Against Gun Control. Twitter brings out what are you going to do with your little rifle peeps who also call the rifles weapons of war? Which is it, sweet cheeks? Are you calling for the bombing of the U.S. by the U.S. government? The great force to get all us gun owners in order, while failing to grasp that their families of these government peeps would also be in peril? These folks do not think things through very well. I don't know. That's kind of poorly worded in my opinion, but we understand the point here. It's definitely not new, but yeah, when they say, "Oh, what are your AR-15s going to do against our airplanes?" Well, that's ridiculous. Like, what the hell do they think they're going to do with airplanes? And what the hell? Seriously? Well, anyway, that gets into a whole bunch of stuff, but this whole idea that they're taking both sides, that the guns are so dangerous, but they're also ineffective, you don't get to do that. Not if you're trying to actually have conversations about other people's property and rights. We're back at the Western Hunting and Conservation Expo, right? Colorado School of the Trades. One of the oldest gunsmithing schools in the country. They had a booth set up there, it looks like, showing off some different products, probably the tools that the students make, maybe? What does it say? Thank you all for coming out to the Hunters Expo. To earn your associate's degree of occupational studies and become a gunsmith, please reach out for more information. Combine all these skills while you repair 38 customer firearms and graduate in 14 months. So there's all kinds of options out there if you want to learn to be a gunsmith, but going to learn from one of the most prestigious and one of the longest enduring gunsmithing schools in the country. There's one in California, there's three in Colorado, and I think there's 2 in Pennsylvania. I think Barbecue went to one of them. And then there's some mail order schools. So if you're at the age where you're looking for something to do for a living, or maybe a hobby that can pay off a little bit, 14 months. This is the picture from out of the front window of the house at Bannerman's. It says the view from the Bannerman family residence now looks more like it did 110 years ago than it did just 10 years ago. Interested in seeing for yourself? Tours begin in April. So Bannerman made a castle. First it was a warehouse, and then he turned it into a castle, and then, he's figured, well, I'm going to make a house up on top. So he made a residence up on top of the hill, on top of his island, and it faces south. So West Point is like right over here, someplace, top of that hill maybe. I don't think it's this hill. I think it might be this hill or something. Maybe that hill. But this is right on the Hudson River, one of the few complete islands, and he owned it. And he had his castle kind of behind you and to the left. And then this way he could look south, out down the river. And whenever it was like he felt like it, he would take cannons and shoot them down the river, and they'd just plop into the water because he felt like it. It was pretty awesome. So this was his residence, and this is the picture window. And they say that it looks more like it did 110 years ago than it did 10 years ago because they've set up the gardens, and because they have pictures and her notes. His wife had the garden set up in a particular way, and they've recreated that now. So very, very cool. And again, you could go to Bannerman Castle. It will not be there forever. He used concrete that had gunpowder in it because he's cheap, and it's falling apart. And the state of New York keeps burning it down. So state of New York hates Bannerman Island, hates the castle, and they're trying to kill it. So have tried to kill it over the years. So now we're talking Teresa Inneker, New Jersey, qualified for Maryland and DC permits today. I'm so grateful for the instructor, Don, the range that hosted us, the range safety officers, and my classmates. So isn't that nice? And she's got a patch on here from the Women for Gun Rights, for Empowered 2A, and for the Firearms Policy Coalition. They need to have a New Jersey organization patch, it sounds like. I wonder if we should do some kind of patch again. Probably should do some kind of poll on whether or not people think we should do another patch. We could probably do another patch now. We got another one from Stephen Holbrook. He's a researcher and author. He's a person who's often looked to for analysis and perspective on things that are at the Supreme Court level. So Stephen Holbrook, this is also interesting because this is the beginning of firearms laws. A fatal duel between congressmen resulted in the outlawing of dueling in the District of Columbia on this date in 1839, February 20th, 1839. The year before, somebody from Kentucky and Representative What's-His-Face from Maine, while two other congressmen looked on. The response was the 25th, I guess, S-250, the 25th, to prohibit the giving or accepting within the District of Columbia of a challenge to fight with a duel and for the punishment thereof. However, dueling continued in spite of the law. Back in ancient times, barbarian Germanic tribes usually used dueling to settle disputes. The practice became a way to defend one's honor. In 1777, Irish duelers drafted the Code of Duello, or something, which was a list of codes to govern duels. Duels were originally fought with swords, but by the late 1700s, pistols were commonly used. When you get into when I got into firearms, the history of firearms training, it all comes back to that book about how you can duel. And that's also some of the first laws about guns, because you had to think about it. Guns didn't exist at one point. Remember when there was no murders and only harmony, and there was no wars because there was no guns yet? Well, then guns got invented, and then people started shooting each other with them. And then they went, you know what, we should probably come up with some rules for this. And that was essentially dueling, because you could only shoot one bullet back in the day. You weren't going to have big armies of people shooting one bullet. But then quickly that changed, and we started to get those old weird rules of war, right? Battles of attrition. And for up close and personal, you had the laws on dueling, but then you also had techniques and ways to win a duel. And as soon as somebody would try to win a duel and learn, they would write that down, and that became the first training. So dueling is crazy old, and animals duel, so it's not like it's not primal, but it's also the beginning of all our dumbass laws and all our dumbass, and all of our training. Some people think training is dumbass. Did you know there was a 2A day on the 22nd? Looks like KD was posting this one about what is STL? I don't know what STL is. That Salt Lake City? I don't know, whatever STL is. Free food and ammo. St. Louis County? I don't know what STL is. St. Louis something. Free food, free ammo, free shooting lanes, speakers, and 2A education with some fellowship. There's no reason to miss out. Mark your calendars. Brownell's 2A day is back on Thursday, February 22nd. So I guess on the 22nd, Brownell's pays for people to go to the range. I don't know how it works. But this shop, I guess, had free lanes all day. And then they had presentations from 6 to 9 p.m. and free ammo for the first 100 people who signed up. So I guess that's enough, something Brownells does. Because it's
Ending the
222?
fight. If we have some tasks along that way that we have the opportunity to accomplish, we should try to do them. One of them being getting the kid out of the fight. And we'll talk.
So this is Citizens Defense Research, and it says in an ideal world, we would be able to avoid all violence and potential harm to ourselves and our loved ones. In the event that's not possible, we have our little ones present. Our hope is to be able to address the situation in a manner that is least likely to cause any additional risk to those we love. It goes on and on. I posted this one because that's Lima Life. And when I first started using YouTube, 2008 and 2009, she was opening up her husband's safe and pulling out the guns, and she would do like one gun per video, and she'd be like, this is a gun I found in the safe and I think I like it. And people were saying like, that's a 1911 and stuff. And so she was literally sharing her experience exploring guns for the first time on YouTube back in like 8 or 9 or 10, whenever this was. And since then, she's developed into where she's established and respected instructor. And people go say dumbass shit like, girls should get into guns, or we need to make it so that girls can shoot. Nah, miss me with that. Let's see. Ron Wayne is saying, wouldn't Altor's be the modern day equivalent to a duel? Nope. Altor is designed to be a gun that doesn't intimidate people that aren't familiar with them, and it creates like a get off of me gun. Altors are an excellent gun. It was a really cool example of a piece of technology that was developed for an amazing purpose to normalize guns and to help people defend themselves, and on a deplorable way it was accepted or appreciated by the community. We mock and condone the things that would, or mock and condemn the things that would potentially move the Overton window the other way. But the Altor is awesome. If they ban one, they will ban them all. That's a good message. It's Rocky Mountain gun owners, though. Sign your petition today. We will not let Colorado ban semi-auto firearms. So I'm not following anything else in Colorado. I am following things in Colorado. I guess I'm not following anything else that's doing anything in Colorado, but it's frustrating that it's Rocky Mountain gun owners doing it.
Hello, my name is Clint Macro. I'm Matt Mallory. We have a show called Meet the Pressers. Meet the Pressers is a show about education and political activism, and it's very 2A centric. And I believe it's important that we help empower all of our fellow Americans to exercise their Second Amendment right to protect themselves and those that they love. It's important that you vote for candidates that will protect that right and honor the Constitution. Like Craig DeLuz. Craig DeLuz is running for the California 6th Congressional District, and I urge you to look into him, learn about him, donate to his campaign so that he can represent you and help to expand our freedoms in the Congress. Your vote does matter. Vote.
Very cool. So, it says, with just 2 weeks left till Election Day, we urge you to join us in supporting a true conservative leader in California's 6th Congressional District, Craig DeLuz. So, if you can help him out, there's We could use more.
Starting off at the 10th position, we have Iraq with 30 firearm per 100 people.
Probably not allowed to play the audio on this one. So this is why are they using 5th generation warfare, social engineering, and every other mode of psychological propaganda operations that they can come up with? So it's a great take on this. So some people will see this kind of bullshit, rah crap. It's a neat infographic. Hopefully we will use the tech more usefully than this. But this is some sort of number of firearms per capita, probably, per 100 people. And, comparing the different countries on the planet. Problem is, I don't know who made this and what point of view they're trying to push, but says makes us the most armed people in the world or whatever. So again, you can get the like rah side of it, but again, the real perspective here is the point of this one is why are they using the tactics that they're using? Well, it's because of guns. We know that. Whether or not other people on our side know that or not, let's realize that one of the tactics that's being used by non-U.S. adversaries, by players, state players, that are outside the country, this bullshit with social platforms and the bullshit with the engineering of them. So, let's take a lot of this news and hype with a grain of salt. They're effective tactics, psychological ops, let's be aware of what, even if it isn't being used, let's be aware of what potentially could be. Let's see, now we get to faster. Sorry, my thing started glitching over here. Register now for summer courses. Courses fill up fast and there are prerequisites. Don't miss this opportunity to train your staff and to save the students. Train your staff to save the students. That seems like a dumbass way to say it. Don't miss this opportunity to train your staff to help save students, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, faster saves lives. It says, don't let your staff get closed out of this summer's classes. All right, I guess it's the same thing. But, yeah, I guess I don't know what that's supposed to be for, because they have different ones in different states. I guess they're just letting people know to register for their stuff. Mike White brought this up earlier. Thanks for that. Got it started over here. San Diego Gun Owners is hosting their gun show this Saturday and Sunday. And I've been on the fence so bad about going over there to that, because it definitely seems like an awesome event. So make sure you don't miss the chance to attend the Red Dawn movie night at the gun show. Experience the iconic 1984 film on the large screen and join other passionate activists from the 2A community. Secure your tickets now at the link in our bio. I haven't seen Red Dawn on a movie theater since 1984, I'm guessing. So that's got to be pretty interesting for that part of it right there. But plus seeing it with a bunch of people who dig it would be interesting. Man, I'd have to do the math on how much it costs to get over there and stuff. But it is this weekend. And if you're in San Diego, I can't imagine not going to that. The gun show, they did a whole thing about the gun show this weekend on the show on Sunday. And very, very cool. It's Arizona Gun Radio is hosting the show. I didn't know that. So, yeah, very cool. And there's a symposium, so there's all kinds of other stuff going on besides the gun show. It's truly another step in the evolution of gun shows. Mike White saying, I'm going to go drive 2 hours and volunteer on Saturday morning. I just got to figure out the dogs, too, are my other problem. I got to see what the weather's going to be like there. All right, so Women for Gun Rights. Know the facts. Aloha spirit doesn't extend to gun owners. This is just a summary. For more information, read the complete bill. If you're from Hawaii, share your testimony at thecapital.hawaii.gov and search SB 3196. What's going on? SB 3196 would further restrict Hawaii's existing assault weapons ban. Reminding everyone there's no such thing as an assault weapon. What does the bill do? It will ban semi-automatic rifles with assault weapon features. It bans all rifles with SKS, AR, AK, and Tavor patents regardless of the rifle features. It bans all semi-auto rifles under 30 inches. Bans historic rifles like the M14 and M1. Bans semi-automatic pistols with assault weapon features, and bans all shotguns capable of firing more than 5 rounds. What if I have a firearm that breaks this law? You can keep them, but they cannot leave your private property, a licensed shooting range, or gun stores or gunsmiths, or capital.hawaii.gov. A little tip, quit saying insane and crazy. I do it all the time too, but it's not necessary. We can use other words. Let's see. So then we've got, it's almost time for Red Dawn Movie Night at the Gun Show, 2A Community Classic Film and popcorn on the big screen. Reserve your seats now and get ready to sit back and relax. Well, I didn't know you could reserve seats. You can reserve the actual seat, or like you can reserve a ticket. You know what I mean? Like, are you actually reserving a seat in the theater? Any section, center orchestra, left orchestra, and right orchestra. Huh. Or choose your own seats. Yeah, you can literally choose your own seat. So, are you going to show me what's available? Or, oh, I see. You have to click on one. There's so many seats still available. Oh my goodness. That's sad. There's a lot of seats still available. Let me go back. Oh, I guess I could show this on the screen instead of not showing it on the screen, huh? Is this showing the screen now? There we go. So the orange ones are still available. How do I get out of here? Oh my goodness. Can you, oh, that's the stage. Well, there's a lot of seats still available, so if you're going to be getting to California, go watch it. Let's see how much they are. $25. That isn't even a deal. It isn't even a big deal. So, I don't know what I did. I just minimized that, I guess. Man. All right. So then, what's that say about USCCA? Sponsored by USCCA. Very cool. But the San Diego Libertarian Party is sponsoring the movie, from what I understand. Yeah, there it is. Sponsored by the San Diego Libertarian Party. Very cool. So, I can't copy Legacy Center San Diego. All right, so selectively enforcing gun laws from Gun Owners of America. Fact, the bipartisan, I always call it the Republican-backed bipartisan Safer Communities Gun Act has been a disaster for gun owners. Thanks to Republicans in Congress compromising, the gun control bill, the largest gun control bill in 30 years, was signed into law by Biden. What did pro-gun congressmen get in exchange for their compromise? Well, nothing. The Biden administration has taken the Republican-backed bipartisan Safer Communities Act and selectively enforced only the anti-gun provisions while leaving the so-called pro-gun parts by the wayside. Swipe to see a clip of this week's One in the Chamber with Tiffany and click on the link for the full episode.
Admin done since the passage of BSCA? Well, they've pushed the adoption of red flag laws in states because they know a national red flag law would never pass any constitutional check. The Biden admin is also busy with staffing their newly created Office of Gun Violence Prevention, a direct link for anti-gun activists to implement their policies directly from the White House. But what about those so-called pro-gun provisions in the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act? Well, it seems that the Department of Justice has been selectively enforcing the parts of the law that the Biden admin likes and has been slow rolling the parts that they don't. Just take the provision in the BSCA that allowed licensed gun dealers to use the NICS background check system to screen their prospective employees. This would allow FFLs to check if the person they're hiring is a prohibited person. There's currently no movement from the Biden Department of Justice on this at all. Okay, so what else has the Biden admin done since the passage of BSCA? Well, they've pushed the adoption of red flag laws in states because they know a national red flag law would never pass any
Okay, so, yeah, I don't know what the hell everybody just sat around watching Republicans cave in on that one. Everyone out of office. It's the only answer. Everyone out of office. Everyone who supported that bullshit, not like everybody out of office, but everyone who supported that bullshit out of office. All right, Frederick Douglass becomes the first black U.S. Marshal. Born into slavery, abolitionist, Frederick Douglass never knew his actual birthday. His mother called him Little Valentine, and so he chose to celebrate on Valentine's Day. Inside our Marshal's timeline, we share how Douglass became the first black U.S. Marshal in 1877 and served for the District of Columbia until 1881. Happy birthday, Frederick Douglass. Very cool. Another one from the Voluntary Channel. This is from Harriet Tubman. I'd reasoned this out in my mind. There was one of two things I had a right to, liberty and death. If I could not have one, I would have the other. That's our first Second Amendment advocate, in my opinion. Most people do not value, this is somebody's post here, most people do not value liberty, they value being taken care of and fear climate Armageddon. So naturally, they don't want to meet voluntary interactions. Or they don't want voluntary interactions. That's pretty interesting. So this is probably from a manual, and it's a booby trap for this would be a 7.62 by 39. So I don't know where this what operation where this would have been used, but maybe in Vietnam. I can't imagine it being used in Vietnam. But anyway, it's from at some point how to booby trap AK mags so that once you shoot a couple of them, it becomes a hand grenade and kills whoever's shooting the gun. It's a neat poster. It's been around for a while.
This is Tony Simon from the Second is for Everyone podcast. Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot, and pound for pound, the tiredest gun bunny. I said tired, not tiny, in the industry. Hey, I'm over here exhausted. Last day of the Ambassador Academy.
And he goes on to talk about how he's traveling home, and then once he gets back to New Jersey, he has a couple of hours to get to the diversity shoot that same day that he drove back, or that he flew back. And it sounds like it was a good one. We chatted with him on Saturday after. So this one's from Clearing the Chamber in Texas, and the old, those who don't pay attention to history are doomed to repeat it. And somebody, I don't know if this is a t-shirt or a meme or what, but it just says, give them your guns. That shit ends dope as fuck. And it's got this weird cartoon version of something. I don't know if that's from a movie or what. February 19th, 1945, 79 years ago. Iwo Jima, 36-day assault, that was the beginning of it, I'm assuming. 36-day assault resulted in more than 26,000 casualties, 6,800 dead. Medal of Honor awarded to 22 Marines, 12 of them posthumously. 5 were presented to sailors, 4 of whom were corpsmen, 2 of those posthumously, and they were attached to Marine infantry units. So a bunch of people are posting about this, and it says, so this is posted by Keep Gunworks, and it's a report from someplace about Finland, which shares a border with Russia, plans to build 300 new shooting ranges as interest in national defense surge. And then Toby posts, some would say building 300 ranges would make you safer. Agree or disagree? Good point. normalizing guns in another country. That was kind of going around there for a few days, so I don't know how much people kept up with that one. So this one's from MAGA. It says, on January 9th, the Attorney General in New York sent a letter on behalf of 19 states to the White House, whatever it's called, the Director of the White House Gun Violence Prevention, whatever it's called, cabinet or something, stating they should prohibit Lake City ammunition from public sale. And then on January 24th, 28 states response said that guns and ammo were protected under the Second Amendment, and then when Lake City sells it, it helps the capabilities of the military. So that's an interesting take. I didn't hear about that interaction. So essentially 19 states had a big fit and decided, let's attack another angle, and 28 states responded. I don't know how much that went around in the news. Pretty cool to hear, though. Is this working? Because it has a pretty bad signal indicator over there. I don't know if it's breaking up or what. So next one is from Unapologetically Armed. Oral arguments begin 10 a.m. tomorrow in the case brought by the Biden Department of Justice against Missouri for daring to flex the state's rights muscle. She'll be listening in. This won't be as fun as being there, but the court canceled the previous calendar date was to be heard and held it on this special session via video conference instead. That's, again, another frustrating part of this whole thing is when they hold all the cards, it's very difficult to dance to their tune. We can say, oh, I'm not going to dance then. Or you can support folks like Unapologetically Armed who are willing to, deal with what the circumstances offer. It's not something anybody wants, but we can either ignore it and let them have what they want by wearing us out, or we can support those folks who are attempting to not get worn out by all this. So Missouri Second Amendment Prevention Act, oral arguments on February 23rd. The court will be conducting oral arguments by video conference on the 23rd. The public will listen to the live audio portion of these arguments by going the following code, dialing the following number and entering the access code. Holy crap, they had to listen on a phone? And that's in Missouri. People would think Missouri isn't under attack. All right, I'll keep going. We're getting late in the show. This is Tony talking about being back in New Jersey. That's where the alligator picture comes from at the beginning of the show. This is a patch emporium. Our friends up in Phoenix area have a patch company, and this is one of their latest ones, the Tesla Cybertruck with a minigun coming out the back. Pretty nice. I'll have to get one of them next time I'm up there. This is an interesting one from Ed's Manifesto. It says, if you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. That's a good one. If you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you.
Shot. There is a 22 caliber small bore rifle, and then there is an air rifle, .177 calibers. The guns look kind of similar, so let's talk about how to tell them apart if you're just looking at a photo of them. So here is a picture. One is an air rifle, one is a small bore rifle, and I used the same brand so that we could have as many similarities as possible. So this top one is an air rifle, and you can tell by a couple ways, but the first one is this air cylinder. You see that silver cylinder that's under the barrel. So it doesn't use lead or ignition, it uses compressed air. The second is the butt plate. So you can see the butt plate down below, how it has a hook. That hook is only allowed in small bore. There's a lot of other little ways to tell them apart too, but those are going to be your easiest two ways to tell them apart. In the video you're referencing, it's a small bore. There's no air cylinder under there. In the Olympics 2 cal.
So again, an example, I don't like how this one, she's got the flag backwards. She probably has everything backwards in this one.
Are shot. There is a...
Yeah, because her flag isn't normally backwards. But that's the kind of stuff that Jenny puts up on her page to explain stuff to people. Let's see. You don't need to carry a gun, just call the police. And then AT&T has experienced a nationwide outage, including 911. And everybody got upset about the missing phone coverage. So we either are cool, we don't need to worry about shit like that, or we're super weak and we have to worry about stuff like that. It's a decision you can make in 2024. I refuse to get all upset about technology breaking down occasionally here and there. Back in the day, we used to understand that happened. This one's excellent. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Has anybody seen this one before? I love this. So Battle Comp is an awesome company. They made SHOT Show an amazing situation for a long time. They make great products, and they're just a good company, and their posts are almost always epic. And yeah, I had not seen this one before. Has anybody seen this one before? It made the thumbnail of the show. It's that good.
Just clarifying, gun locks would be only the owner of that gun could actually pull the triggers.
Smart guns are a great idea on television, but it's been demonstrated time and time again that they do not work. We need to teach everybody, quite frankly, not to glorify firearms, but to teach people respect for firearms.
It isn't compassionate to see a homeless person sleeping on the sidewalk when it's 110 degrees outside. It is a challenge to downtown, and it's a concern.
People do not feel safe walking down the streets. And what we've done here in Sacramento, what we've done in California, just simply start not enforcing the law for certain people. And we're not going to do anything to protect the taxpayers who actually put them in office.
Immigrants that have been here, we've got to figure out a way for those individuals to come out of the shadows, feel safe.
Remain in Mexico policy needs to be reinstated. We also need to say, if you enter the United States illegally and then apply for amnesty, you will not be able to obtain amnesty or legal residency. On October 6th, there was a ceasefire. That ceasefire was broken by Hamas on October 7th. 1,200 Israelis were killed, men, women, and children.
I'm with President Biden. I think there's a more precise way. The number of innocent lives that are being lost is tragic.
I support Israel in doing what it is that they need to do in order to make sure.
Shit, I'm probably going to get banned now because I have a thing that's too political. I thought that was neat, though. It's getting all the back and forths across in, like a presentation. But I probably got the show banned. But there's a point earlier when we were talking about the Independence Fund, when that guy was saying that, as soon as you say suicide in a show, you're off the rails. So now talking about politics, I'm sure it's off whatever rails it might have ever been on. But thanks to the people that do find the show and make the point of listening to it. It is appreciated. And, half the point of what we do here is so that there's a transcription of this. The robots will write down everything I say here. And then that becomes part of the internet. And it's just reiterating some of the people and projects that are worth repeating on whatever platform, whatever soapbox, whatever effort we can give to that. Speaking of watching people do things over the years, how cool is this? Aegis Gun Cleaners, who a lot of people in the live community are going to know and understand their growth over the years, now has been added to the Shields product lineup. That's pretty cool. Those are some interesting shops that are growing around the country. We have one in Arizona now. So that is very cool. Tactical Outfitters had this one out here. I like this one. Punch Today in the Face. That's a neat one. This is our Air Museum here in Tucson. A before and after of a Lockheed Model 18 Lodestar. Kind of an epic plane from back in, kind of like a DC-3 looking thing from back in the World War II days. It's a World War II passenger transport plane, named after the old word for a star used for navigation, like the North Star, Polaris. Hopefully it guides you over the south side to the museum this Thursday and Friday, where it's open for tours. Oh, that's neat. The plane is open for tours? When Sophia is open for tours. I don't know what Sophia is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the NJ First podcast. My name is Ryan McDonald. Thank you for joining me today on a free speech platform. Today, I have another guest joining me, a candidate for Congress running in Congressional District 10 against Donald Payne Jr. We have Carmen Bucco. Thank you for joining us today.
Ryan, thank you for having me today, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And I've seen your Instagram content. You've been active, making your campaign aware. I saw you at the Union County make a great speech. And it's great that you're public speaking, coming on and having a free speech engagement conversation with me. And please introduce yourself to NJ First viewers that don't know you and why you're running for Congress.
So my name is Carmen Bucco. I'm running for Congress in District 10. Last year I ran for state senate, and I think the year before, the last 2 years, I actually ran for commissioner. The reality is our state and our country are broken right now. And I run based on my growing up, if that makes any sense. Grew up in the foster care system, lived on the streets, had a drug issue, and now today I run a successful small business. I don't think our politicians all mean what they're doing, right? I think some are misguided. I think some are just, their mindset is just not in the realm of the American citizens. And we need strong leadership, and I believe I bring that. You know, I can reach out to districts where people won't go. I can reach out to Irvington, East Orange.
I don't know about you, but one is we could have more people interviewing politicians. It's probably a good idea. More coverage of the people that are, what's the word? Campaigning against the incumbents, though. So we get some change and some choice. And then just this guy being a normal person who grew up with a normal life instead of somebody who grew up, with a focus on being a politician or a goal to be a politician, and then took a bunch of college classes to be a politician or a lawyer, and then now going into politics and, with some amount of money and coming out with millions. Seems like a refreshing change to have, or refreshing contrast to have somebody in who's just a normal person who's fed up with that. And that's where I think there's hope, because people that are pessimistic don't realize that things change and things fluctuate. And once people get frustrated with what exists, they typically they resist, they go the other way. And that creates fluctuation. So when you're in a time of frustration because there's a bunch of people being jerks in one direction, it's not permanent. We've never had anything that stayed permanent. Almost anything in this country nothing stayed permanent, really. So knowing that it's about to move the other way is, again, not necessarily it's hope or just awareness that things aren't the same all the damn time. All right, so this is, I don't know how much time we've got. We've got about 10 minutes before Toby goes live, so I'll try to get it finished. But this is Sierra Vista, which is just south of Tucson, about halfway between Tucson and Mexico. And this is at the Sierra Vista range. Let's see, where is this range? Man, is this the Sierra Vista range? So this is the range where, if you ever watch my old videos of Masada Ayub, that would have been in this classroom in this white building. And the videos where we're driving on the road is the road to the left here where it says entrance. And then the courses would have been in these bays here. So, and then there's a bunch of videos of us just shooting in these ranges and some drone footage from back in the day. So this mountain here is Mexico. Mexico's on the other side of here. Not that far, a couple of miles. So every once in a while, I've heard stories of people shooting out here, and there's this mountain behind you where you're shooting, so you can see the mountain. And there'll be drug trains coming down that mountain. They just don't even care that there's gunfire. And then the goal would be to get up to a road up here that goes north, and then, offload their shit to somebody in a car. But this is within walking distance of the border. So anyway, it's a neat range, and this is the tactical games. So a bunch of people that are super fit, and it's like people that do what is that? Jiu-jitsu or whatever it is. And then people that do, oh man, what's the name of that? Exercising. But then they start doing this shooting sport. So it's these people that are like super fit, and they add firearms into the mix, and they do these very athletic and challenging shooting matches. And I don't know how much coverage they get in the major media coverage out there, or in the YouTube coverage for that matter, because I mean, these people are at a pretty high level of athleticism. I don't know how many people are even trying to compete in that. Let's see, if anyone asks, tell them the definition of shall not be infringed is shall not be infringed. James Madison, probably. I guess that's funny. I haven't seen that one before. I don't know why they have to clean out gun. Is that knife? Gun and knife show? Pioneer County is doing their, or I guess Pioneer Country, sorry, is a promoter. They never want to work with me, but I'll still promote their shows. And they do real shows. Kingman is a little tiny town, so it'd be cool to go see a gun show in Kingman. Maybe it's not tiny, but it's not big. Gun Food is talking about his time at the 2A Freedom Fest yesterday. Great rally for all. We attended. It was amazing speakers. So this was the Florida 2A Freedom Fest. Where was that? So you type it into the internet, Bearing Arms on yesterday. You got Facebook. So was it some Facebook only event? Anyway, I had to go look for it, and I found one YouTube video. Like, I found almost nothing talking about it. So I contacted a couple of people that are in it. Like, hey, let me know about this thing so I could put it in the calendar. But evidently it's a thing, and it's happened more than once. But I didn't know if it was going to continue to happen because I couldn't find nothing out about it when I was setting the calendar up. But they brought down Gun Owners America, and looks like Florida Carry was involved. But anyway, thanks to Gun Food, because if I wasn't following Gun Food, I wouldn't even known that one was coming, or that it happened, I guess. Then you got Gun Food also posting about the Ambassador Academy. I'm just going to keep going since we're getting into the show here. Triggerology doing the gun versus fire extinguisher analogy. Both of them are tools. They both offer a fighting chance to stop a fire and loss of life and property. Bad actors have misused them many times to hurt others or cause mayhem, yet no laws have been passed to place roadblocks to acquire them. Why? Because restricting access to life-saving tools is immoral and opposite to promoting safety. This is the basis why we say people who want you unarmed are not really and not ready for unexpected confrontation are not your friends. Okay, I said that pretty poorly. But essentially he's suggesting that, fire extinguishers can be and have been used incorrectly and improperly, and they don't always work, but nobody bars you from owning them or places infringements on your possession of them. Fire extinguisher and auto insurance, I think those are great parallels when we're having conversations with people who don't get the whole concept of guns. If their only focus is, why do you want to own that toy? Why do you want to own that violent thing? What's your preoccupation with that violent knick-knack? They don't necessarily have to understand everything we appreciate. So how do we express that to them? How do we get past that rift and, create some places where we have mutual understanding? Boom. Triggerology on point once again.
Tulsi, finishing out your first ever tactical games experience, second place overall. Did that exceed your expectations?
So what the fuck? So I'm going to just probably be Cork and Toby a little bit, because do you even know about the tactical games? I mean, I knew that they were coming up and I knew that they were in Arizona, and I would have gone down there, but I don't have the luxury of just doing shit like that. But man, So Tulsi Gabbard, who was running for president, right? Big fancy Democrat or whatever, and super controversial because she doesn't like guns or whatever. She's down here winning second overall in the tactical games for. I mean, there's a billion things to talk about there. So is people going to start having Tulsi on their shows and we're going to start hearing more from Tulsi? Are people going to start figuring out that the tactical games is something to work towards, the adding physical fitness and challenge, physical challenge to shooting sports? What about all these new gun owners? You think they're all a bunch of people that don't like to do nothing but watch the internet? Or are they a bunch of kids that are out looking to enjoy life and looking for practical and fun ways to prepare for who knows what the future might be, because they're all half concerned that the environment's going to kill us before capitalism? I don't know. It's pretty neat. I'd like to spend more time on this one for sure. You can check out my Instagram and see all these, I think, if you want. Maj is, it's got to be frustrating for Maj. I don't know. So a bunch of people say, oh man, things should be different. Oh man, why don't we do this or that? Or, oh man, look who the problems are. Running these number of fucking questions. And then Maj is over here, essentially, like he says, raising pretty close to $1 million to give away. And he's giving away most of that money in the form of free classes that happen constantly. Everything from from civics to occupational type of classes, to firearms, of course, and now survival training. And he does this in a place that they're buying, and he's $200,000 away from buying a giant property in Philadelphia, and then does all this stuff, challenging people on socials and what. And he's out there petitioning for funding. A lot of people consider themselves capitalists, but not exactly willing to back that up with capital. Maybe that's the way to say it. So, it adds up. I can tell you 100% if you're listening to this and you never experienced a fundraising or a crowdfunding situation, a bunch of people throwing $5 at things becomes epically changing. It can change the environment. It can change the horizon. So if you're a capitalist and you're frustrated, and you're truly a capitalist, take an amount of money that you can afford to do this with. $5, $10, $20, seriously, $50 would probably be the most you got to do it with, and start throwing $5 around. But unapologetically armed, she would be in a different situation, is the only person I know of in the state of Missouri who's interested in petitioning for firearms rights. And tell me somebody else in Missouri. I mean, we know people in Missouri that are good gun people, but she's the only one literally putting her money where her mouth is and showing up, doing stuff. Would she be able to do more? Would it facilitate her to have $3,000 or $5,000 a month coming in to do what she does? I don't care if she's motivated by it or not. I know she's never asked for that, but I'm just saying, what if that happened? Well, $3 times 1,000 people is $3,000 to make the state of Missouri different. That's $3 And if you did that with $30, if you did that with $15, you could do that with 5 different people. You could do that with 10 different people. If it hurts to talk about throwing money around, then I don't know if you're a capitalist. I don't know what you are. But capitalism is using your capital to influence the future. I've been the recipient, and I've been a consultant to. I've been the benefactor of, and the every angle. Yep, I'm definitely corking them. So Cape Gunworks is already starting up. You'll get a link when we're all over it, when we're all done here. But if you want to go say hey while we're still chatting here, I'll drop a link in the chat. But anyway, I've been on every angle of capitalism and throwing money around in our community. And I've seen how much money there is in our community. And it's amazing what gets done and what's been done by a bunch of people throwing $3 around. It's amazing. It really is. So anyway, if you haven't ever contributed to Maj, just go buy a shirt or something. But essentially $200,000. So whatever, break that down however you want, but not that much money in the grand scheme of things. And there's a building in Philadelphia, on the streets of Philadelphia, so to speak, offering free classes to anybody that walks by to, again, normalize and move that Overton window. Critically important and epic work being done. There's a couple of posts by Maj because he's got a lot going on, and it must be frustrating to not, to be within that close and then not be able to finish it. So there was the tactical games, but here is the cowboy action stuff going on in Cowtown. So Cowtown is north of Phoenix. If you go to Ben Avery out of Phoenix and you go to Ben Avery, oh, you know what? We'll do a map view of all the gun ranges in Arizona. Shit, I just thought of doing that. I never thought about doing that before. So anyway, if you go to Ben Avery and you go east or west a little bit, and then you go south a little bit, you show up at Cowtown, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's awesome. There's some airports for like hang gliders and things like that, or glider planes, I think, maybe hot air balloons, and then nothing. There's like nothing out there. And they've got a paintball range, and they've done some gun shows and stuff. There's been some shooting events out there before, and then it's really built for cowboy stuff like this. I think some movies even might have been filmed out in the area. But anyway, it's a really neat property out in Arizona, and over the years, watching it grow and shrink and be interested and get more and less interest over the years, it's been pretty cool. Looks like it's pretty much thriving at this point. This is a pretty good looking event, as far as I can tell. My friend Bullet for Bucks. Look at the excellent editing in this video. This just thought how excellently edited this video was. I figured I'd post it over here just because of how excellently edited that video is. Great job on the editing there. So then we have the tactical games again, where Tulsi came in second. This is the chick that beat her, I think. Rick Ector, who is on the board of directors for the NRA, showing off his pin and asking people to vote for him. That Liberty Justice Center again says the court's to court this week again to mess with the city ordinance in Lincoln, which violates state law. So for Nebraskans who are interested in seeing that happen. Let's see. This is talking about the Olympic Center, where the Olympics are, when the Olympics are held. Here in Arizona, we've got the airplane graveyard, and then we've got a couple of junkyards. Oh shit! You know what you can see here? And then we've got the airplane museum. So this is the next to the airplane museum. So there's the airplane museum in this picture, and this is north. So north is to the right, is like to the top right corner of the screen. So next to on the east side of the airplane museum, they're setting up the tank museum, or the Tucson Military Vehicle Museum, it's going to be called. And it looks like they got a building already, and they got this giant concrete pad that they're pouring. So now you can see, the after view of that pad being poured. On the north side of that street right there, that's the Air Force Base. That's Davis-Monthan. And over here to the left would be a shit ton of F-16s and a shit ton of A-10s that are rock and roll. Actually, they're over here. Would be rock and roll and ready to go. Like, that's where they're learning how to fly A-10s. And I don't know what the F-16s do, just make noise up there. And I think they go fly south. They go by the Mexico border and do dogfights. But over here is a bunch of junkyards. Some of them have airplanes. And this is a solar panel farm. And then this is the airplane museum. So now we're going to go back one. And you're looking at that pad being poured. And that building right there is, if you go back to 2006. Holy shit. If you go back to 2006 and go to one of our websites, you'll find a review of us doing a force on force with tactical response. It was in that white building right there, kitty corner from the Air Force Museum. So that's when they were pouring that thing. And now if you look at this picture, that's looking straight north. So that's Tucson up here on the other side of the Air Force Museum, or I'm on the other side of the Air Force. And then this is, again, looking back over at, this is like a trucking school. And then that's that building where we did force on force back in 2006. Oh, by the way, you can see me broadcasting in this picture right here. And then this is KD talking to some guy about this little, I guess it's a Mossberg. Is he talking to Mossberg? Or is he talking to the people that modify it? But a little breacher Mossberg, so a shockwave breacher essentially. So this is Recoil Magazine featuring KD. I thought that was kind of cool. And then they're just talking about some shotgun. So at that Air Force Museum we were just talking about, there's going to be a learn how to fly and then build your own drone. So you learn how to build it, and then you learn how to fly it, and then you take it home. How cool is that? So, it looks like it's made out of Legos? What? So on April 20th, you could go to that museum and learn how to build your drone, and then learn how to fly it, and then you go home with it. How cool is that? Let's find out how much that costs. Wow. Okay, how much do you think that costs? You are walking home with a drone, though. Let me know if you're here, how much you think that costs. All right, I'll keep going. We're definitely Quark and Toby over there. Oh my goodness, that's thunder. What happened? Permitless carry has passed the Senate in Louisiana. So again, we have national level organizations. Call your House reps today and urge them to get SB1 over the finish line. Make sure Louisiana is state number 28. So that's what the three-letter organizations are all about. Unfortunately, it's the little tiniest one that's, this is what the national level organization should be all about. Getting calls to actions out there. I don't know if any others are doing this and I missed it, but this one's from yesterday. And this is from FPC, gun owners or gun policy on Instagram, getting people to call representatives. So again, we have influence in states like Louisiana, right? One, we got stuff we buy there. We got travel to there. And we're allowed to just call them and let them know our opinion. But like I say, when we've got influence there, if we've got family there, if we've got jobs or something there, then, or if you just like products from there, you can say, hey, you know what? I could buy somebody else's hot sauce. There's got to be a hot sauce in Georgia. I like their gun laws. So if you want to start selling less Louisiana hot sauce, quit being weird over there and pass this, whatever. I don't know. Maybe not. Maj, like I say, frustrated over there. Actually saying some kind of stuff I just said before. Now you got Michael Cargill hanging out in front of the Supreme Court. So dude who's been owning a gun shop in Austin, Texas for a while, doing a radio show since back in the Gun Channel days of 2013. Turned it into a podcast. At one point sued the government for the bump stocks and now is about to head to the Supreme Court. How cool is that? A bunch of girls are headed to Texas for, what's it called? I think they're just calling it Empowered 2A. So, but a bunch of girls are headed to Texas on March 9th, and stuff from Machine Gun Nest is going. So that's pretty interesting. I didn't know she was going. North American Arms posted this one 5 hours ago, and it had a 22 short on it, so I posted it. This is that Kaya Jones giant Instagram channel. Maybe she's popular somewhere else too, but she's got a giant Instagram channel, and she's talking about this. That's what it's called, National Women's Range Day. So that's pretty neat. M&P Guns, we talked about them earlier. Here's another picture of their shop. I definitely need to get up there. Looks like it's a pretty cool shop. Henry 4570, very nice looking. SoTech, one of our favorite companies, posting about their Go Bag Mini coming out in black multicam. Anyway, pretty neat. And that was our show. So now we'll head you over to Cape Gun Works. We went a little bit over what we should have, but yeah, we had a couple weeks of missing it there. So that's the whole goal, is to, oh, you think that costs $100? Yeah, you're right. It was $100. Build a drone, $100. for non-members. If you're a member of the museum, like some of us, it's only $95. And then every extra drone is $70. I don't know. Seems pretty cool though. And I would like the idea. I just like the idea of being able to fly a drone at the museum. That it was almost worth $100 just to do that. I don't really have that kind of money, but it would be if I had that kind of money, because that's pretty cool. That's the museum where my dog peed on a MiG. Not this dog, but a good dog. When I had a Doberman that was good, he peed on a MiG. So I don't know if Russia won the Cold War or not, but my dog peed on a MiG. All right, well, so we're going to head you over to Toby from Cape Gun Works, does the Rapid Fire Radio. And today's just Rapid Fire Radio. Yesterday was 2A Tuesday. So thanks everybody for joining us, and for the people that participated live. And if you're listening as a podcast, you know what to do. Give us some kind of feedback over there, and we'll throw a quick commercial on here for the store. Stay tuned for lots of neat stuff happening over at the store as kind of things are shifting around over here, making more time for that.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
And then before we send you... Wait, am I still in here? Yeah, I'm still in here. Before we end it, I am going to recommend again that this hour, almost 2 hours from SHOT Show is, I mean, I've seen only a couple of really, really, really good things at SHOT Show ever, not just this year, but like ever at SHOT Show that were 2A, that were like useful, besides just gun stuff. Obviously there's tons of gun stuff, but this was definitely worth your time and worth sharing around. All right, with that, I'm going to send you back over to Toby there, and we'll talk to y'all next time we meet you.